How dare Chapter Master Valrak accuse the Emperor's companions of heresy? The things he said in his video would have made Erebus proud. I have already informed the Ordo Hereticus of his heretical beliefs, and I assure you that the Emperor's Holy Inquisition will thoroughly investigate Chapter Master Valrak. While the Imperial fists were fortifying Terra for the invasion of the Traitor Legions, we Custodians were defending the very soul of the Imperium itself in the war within the webway. If the talons of the Emperor failed in their duty, then the Golden Throne would have been breached, and all those cute castles you Imperial fists built would have crumbled from within. You Imperial fists had no clue, because guess what? We didn't trust you then, and we still don't fully trust you now. It was the Astartes that was responsible for the Horus heresy. It was the Astartes that betrayed the Emperor. That classic Astartes pride is both a blessing and a curse within your kind. You think because you are the Praetorians of Terra that you are above even the watch of the Custodes? When you brought the phalanx back from Cadia, who knows what lingering traces of corruption could have remained? Our delegates aboard the phalanx are performing their duty by being ever vigilant, ever watchful for even the slightest sign of betrayal by Astartes' kind. The pride of the Imperial fists may be wounded, but the Custodes are not hindered by such a thing as pride. We will gladly perform the role of a dull Ogrin, despite being the greatest of his servants. We will gladly shroud the golden lights away in pitiful rags, so that we may serve his will, the Emperor's will. Do not dare presume yourself above the Custodes. We are the Emperor's will made manifest. Your daddy Dawn was foolish enough to get himself trapped in a fictional desert. You say he felt corn? The only fighting I saw him do was fight off the voices in his head. Yes, the Imperial fists deserve respect. Yes, the Imperial fists deserve the commendations that have been heaped upon them. Without their strength of will and mind, the siege would have been over before it even began. But do not allow your stubborn pride as a son of Dawn become your undoing, as it has done for so many of your fallen kind. That is a mistake that the Custodes have made once, trusting the Space Marines, and it cost us more than you can ever imagine. We will not allow history to repeat itself. I admit that we failed to protect the Emperor. That is why we cloaked ourselves in black, and it is a shame that the Custodes will forever live with. But do not dare say the Custodes have done nothing but hide within the palace for 10,000 years while you Space Marines waged the war. The Custodes were bound by the Edict of Restraint, which was written up by Lord Robute Gulliman. We were bound to this Edict of Restraint the same way you were bound by the Codex Astartes to dismantle your legion and form up in chapters. However, the Custodes have never been idle. We prosecute countless blood games, continually testing the defenses of the palace. We have deployed small strike teams out into the void. We have chambers dedicated to the live capture of dangerous creatures and enemies of the Emperor like heretic Space Marines, and bringing them back to Terra so that the Custodes can learn more about the foes of the Imperium. So to say that the Custodes have been collecting dust in the palace, now that is true slander, and that is something I cannot and will not abide by. The Imperial fists have been suffering, and they have sacrificed countless battle brothers in the defense of the Imperium. Yet, is that not your purpose? Is that not why you Astartes were created? You are the bulwark against the darkness. To fight in his holy wars is the first and foremost duty of every Space Marine chapter. While you are sworn to destroy the enemies of the Emperor, we are sworn to defend the Emperor himself. The protection of the Emperor is our first and foremost duty. The Imperial Palace alone is the size of a continent. The Golden Throne itself has expanded and grown into an unfathomable size. It is no longer contained within the throne room. Its underground power coils stretch into the depths of Terra, and they are the size of cities. There are more dangers than you can imagine within the Imperium that threaten the Emperor directly on Terra. Heretic Inquisitors, drunk on their own power and delusion, and the insidious forces of chaos that sow the seeds of dissent amongst the trillions of people that live on Terra. Even terrible gene stealer cult infestations have been uncovered. With the return of the Avenging Sun Gulliman and the dissolution of the Edict of Restraint, which happened in the first Watchers of the Throne book that I highly recommend for reading, the Custodes have joined the Indomitus Crusade in strength unseen since the days when the Emperor walked with us. The Imperial fists and every Space Marine chapter out there will be under even more scrutiny than ever. If you have nothing to hide, if you are a loyal servant of the throne, then you would gracefully accept the presence of the Emperor's very own companions aboard your vessels, the same way you graciously accepted the gift from the dark age of technology from our Shadow Keepers that allowed you to return the phalanx to its former glory. If anything, you should be thanking the Emperor that his companions graced the hallowed halls of your ancient star fortress. Your suspicion is unbecoming of you. Know your place, Astartes. Know your place, Chapter Master Valrak. Do you think the Custodes are blind to the fact that you have assigned Praetor Colonel Talia Kask to discover the truth behind why we gifted you the power to restore the phalanx? If you have nothing to hide, why so suspicious? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out Chapter Master Valrak's. I'll link it down below. I don't normally watch lore videos because I prefer reading the source material myself, and I do have a TikTok attention span, but I really vibe with the fun energy in this video. There's actually been a story written about a conflict between the Custodes and the Imperial fists in the short story Hands of the Emperor by Rob Sanders. I personally enjoyed reading it, even if the actual conflict itself doesn't fit within my personal headcanon. I do see Custodes and Imperial fists beefing over silly bureaucratic problems pre-siege of Terra, because both have been charged with the defense of Terra, but I don't see them actually fighting each other directly because of it. The story was also written in 2015, so it includes stuff you wouldn't normally see anymore, like it referenced Custodians as foot knights in the story. At first I was confused myself and I thought it was talking about perhaps special Imperial army soldiers, or maybe even sisters, but the author was actually calling Custodians foot knights. For an up-to-date look at the relationship between Custodians and Imperial Fists in 40k, I recommend the second Watchers of the Throne book, The Regent's Shadow. I also hope that they did develop the story about the Shadowkeepers reviving the Phalanx further, and the Custodians going undercover inside. I think it would be a really good read. And if Chapter Master Valrak and other Imperial Fists out there ever need another hand, just let us know.